Welcome back to the Why Mindset Matters podcast. I'm Eslana Loa. I'm a speaker, author, resilience mindset coach. I'm a nurse, a midwife, and a mother of 4. And if this is somehow the first episode of mine that you found, I do want to start with a trigger warning. I do discuss the loss of my teenage daughter Riley to suicide. Today's episode, I want to talk about how no one is coming. And it can be a really sad or confronting thing to hear depending on where you're sitting in your life. I promise you I'm going to follow it up with great news. But I think a lot of the time we spend a good portion of our life, if not most of it, potentially all of it, but at the very least some of it, waiting for some hero, some knight in shining armor to come and rescue us from whatever it is that's happening in our life or potentially not happening or whatever it is. And I can fully relate, whether it's from as early as my childhood home, pretty awful things that have happened throughout my life. A good portion of my life, I think I spent waiting for some hero or knight in shining armor to ride in and just save me. I wanted so badly to be saved from the environments that I found myself, from the traumas and abuses that were occurring in my life. And the reality is that obviously there's times in our life, like my early childhood and my family of origin, that's not something that is necessarily could have had a knight in shining armor. But having said that, there could have been. Like if that family existed today, child services would have to come and remove us because of the circumstances we were in. And in that instance, that would have been my knight in shining armor. So the desire in us as humans to be saved from environments that cause us harm is not wrong and not uncommon. But the reality is, although there's aspects outside of our control when we're younger, what can happen is we lead into the older aspects of our life, our teen years, our early adulthood, and then into adulthood with this perception that someone should be coming, that I want to be saved, that whatever the repercussions are of what has happened in my life that I continue to live with, whether that's baggage or whatever it is, I want to be saved. And what happens is we end up looking for the one. Maybe our knight in shining armor is this person we think we're going to find, our soulmate, who's going to love us unconditionally and meet all of our needs and fix and heal all of our wounds and just save us from the discomfort of whatever it is, our external reality, our internal reality. But I think a lot of people can relate to having that feeling at one time or another. And the reality is there is no one. There is no one coming to save you, but there's also no one person who's going to love you unconditionally and meet all of your needs or heal your wounds or save you. And if you haven't already listened to my episode on becoming the one, I encourage you to, because it's all about how that is an impossible ask and how we can work instead to become the one. So our need for unconditional love is always met. We're better positioned to have healthy relationships to ourselves, but then in turn to other people, and have a more rewarding and fulfilling and joy-filled life as a result of it. But I encourage you to listen to that if you haven't already. The other episodes that tie into what I'm about to talk about would be Manifesting Like a Mofo and Main Character Energy, because all of those episodes tie into this one and the fact that no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to do the thing, to fix, to whatever it is. No one's coming to clean my bathroom. I need to stop procrastinating and clean that thing because no one is coming. So whether it's the bathroom I'm procrastinating about cleaning, whether it's my own healing that I need to tend to, whether it's a situation or relationship that I might need to find my way out of, no one's coming to save me. I need to be capable of acknowledging that so that I can find my way to the realization that I am the one. I'm the hero in this journey. If I take accountability for that realization and then step into the power of what I'm about to discuss. It is a good ending, I promise. Hang in there. But yes, no one is coming. No one is coming to save you. There's a story structure called the hero's journey, which is an outline that they use as the basis for most big movies. It involves the hero leaving their ordinary world and returning transformed with this reward or new understanding. And essentially what I would encourage you to realize is that all of us have the capacity to have this hero's journey out of our life. Of course, we have come through a heap of shit, probably, let's be real, but we have the opportunity to go through an initiation of new understanding, and in doing so experience a transformation where we get to rise from the ashes of what was our life and reborn into this version of the very hero that we were seeking in the beginning. The very person that I wanted to rush in and save the day was within me all the time. And I couldn't think of a better hero, if I'm honest, because at the end of the day, if I try and work out who the one person in my life is that I can rely on every single day, it's me. I'm the only person that I can rely on, because putting expectations on someone outside of myself is not unreasonable, but it does predispose us to the risk of disappointment because we can't control the behaviors of others. But what I can control is my behaviors, my choices, my accountability. And if I step into the power of living from an authentic place and a place of integrity, then I actually honor that authenticity by showing up in a way where I am reliable. Of course, I follow through on what I say. My word means something. And as someone who behaves that way in life, fuck yes, I'll choose me to be the hero for me, because I know at the end of the day that I'm not going to let myself down, and I'm not going to break my heart. I'm going to do everything I can to protect that heart, because it's been through enough and I don't want it to hurt anymore. And I can have my own back. So 100% actually, when we realize that I get to be the hero, that out of all of the possibilities of what I thought it could be, there's actually only one, and it turns out that's the best, then yeah, let's go. But I would liken it to being like pulling the curtain back and exposing you to this knowledge that not just no one is coming, but that you have within you the capacity and everything that you actually need to step into the power of your main character energy and really become the one that you've been searching for. And in doing so, truly realize your greatness and your power to show up in your own life as the hero of this journey. Then it's a really full-on and confronting thing to be exposed to, the realization of this. I really love that saying that says our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. And I really believe that it applies for most of us, because when we pull the curtain back and we expose ourselves to the realization or the potential to realize what I'm talking about, then I do believe that there's a good portion of people who would choose to put the curtain back. That I don't want to see that, because that looks uncomfortable. And the reality is I'd rather stay in the discomfort that I'm familiar with because it's familiar. And so I want to put the mask back on. I want to cover that information up, and I want to return to being where I'm familiar, and therefore the discomfort is comfortable, because I'd rather be here in the known and complaining about my life and living in martyrdom to somebody else's experience and playing the victim role, whether I'm realizing these things or not, because it takes courage. It takes strength of character and an incredible amount of courage to walk through the flames of the realization that you're powerful beyond measure, and that everything that you desire is on the other side of, leaning into all of these things, on the other side of a door you're yet to walk through. And that by taking on what I'm saying and taking responsibility and accountability for the fact that if I'm the hero, then I get to save the day, and I get to be accountable for and responsible for the very things in my life that I would otherwise complain about or be uncomfortable about or discontent with, then yes, that's a lot. But it's a lot in an incredibly rewarding way if we at the same time realize that I'm powerful beyond measure. I am so incredibly powerful, and if I step into that power, even just to begin with, it'll blow your mind. And I would encourage you to listen to the episode about manifesting like a mofo, because when you do the work to become the one and start really showing up and really just loving yourself with the kind of effortless authenticity and compassion and empathy that you do and would anyone else potentially, but definitely a small child. We have so much of that to give those outside of ourselves. And if we turn any of it inward and we start to really experience that love and compassion and self-care and really date ourselves, really start becoming the one I've been searching for, it just does something. It turns a light on in you so that you see all of this love. You thought you had love to give those around you and outside of you. You have so much more to give when you start giving it to yourself, because it's given from a place that's so much healthier and so much more authentic and unattached. It's not given on the subconscious premise of, if I do this or I be this, or will you love me? If I love you this way or I show up this way, will you love me? Am I worthy? I'm seeking to be loved and validated and to feel worthy. When you do all of that for yourself and you feel this flood of course I'm worthy, and self-validation, then you actually aren't giving love moving forward from a place of desperation and attachment, but rather free from attachment, and it frees you up to truly, truly experience a degree of love and self-love that I promise you didn't know was possible. And I'm very much enjoying that in my life, and the freedom from attachment that it provides, and the acknowledgement that I can't control or dictate any really of the external factors and environmental factors in my life, including people in it. And some people will come and they'll go. Some people will pass away. Some people will leave, whether it's by choice or not their choice. I can't control these things. And if my contentment and peace and sense of love and stability hinges on my ability to control factors outside of myself that your ego might want you to think that you can, but I promise you can't, then it lends itself to a really uncomfortable ride. And I don't want that. That's been the first 43 years of my life. I don't want that. And I'm so happy to be in this place of peace where I get to live the opposite of that. And I have been telling people, romantically, I could die so happy right now with the love and that I feel towards myself that I didn't know was possible. And so when we endeavor to reach that place, which I know it's only going to get better because I'm a newbie to this genuine self-love. And so I know that as it grows, the fulfillment and enrichment in my life as a result is only going to grow with it. So I'm very excited about that. But then you step at the same time into the capacity you have to start manifesting your life and the things in it that you want. And honestly, listen to the episode if you haven't already, because manifesting isn't some woo-woo shit where you just take your hands off the wheel of life and write some affirmations on paper and hope everything works out for you. It's the realization that my ego, this part of me that's so desperate to cling white knuckle to the wheel of life and control those things that I actually can't control, and in an endeavor to keep me safe or get me to where I want, thinks it needs to know, if I want to get to here, I need to know how I'm going to get there. But manifesting is about the realization that I don't. That I am powerful beyond measure, that my higher self can be at work without this version of me fully understanding the finer details of it. I can be very intentional about my manifestation as far as putting out there what I want. My ego can let go of the wheel of life, but then I act with intention. Yes, I may be writing stuff down and I may be doing these things, but what ties it together and gives it the power is then acting intentionally. It's not enough for me to say that, I don't like this in life if I'm not changing the things I can change, or that I want this in life if I'm not walking through the doors that open in my life. Because if I'm putting out there what I want to kind of draw into my life, but then life is giving me opportunities by the way of doors that open, and I'm like, no thanks. Of course I'm saying yes. I'm saying yes in life. I'm walking through doors that open, whether I understand what's on the other side or not, because some of the most incredible connections have resulted from me doing so. So here I am leaning into this self-love and feeling so proud of myself because I really, really do have this genuine care and love for this version of me, but also every version that came before. And I love in advance the version of me that's coming, the version of me I see myself growing into. And especially because I see the power of stepping into harnessing this incredible, immeasurable power that I have to manifest, for instance. So, and then layer on main character energy, which has been another game changer for me because it's listen to the episode, but in reflecting even on since I made that episode, I catch myself in life going, would I do this? Would the main character in a film do it? Would you watch the film if the main character was doing that? I recently stopped biting my nails. It was something that I didn't think that I could stop. It wasn't something I was intentionally doing, but it was the one place in my life where the evidence of any anxiety around Riley's death was evident because my nails were almost at the cuticle. I did not know you could bite them that low. It hurts a lot. and it wasn't something I knew I was doing. But I would sit at night and just bite my nails. And I recently had an interaction with Kai and the girls, and I said something about how I'd really like to one day get my nails done, and he had said, I'll pay for them, stop biting your nails and I'll pay for them. And then Sally quickly said, and I'll pay for your infills. And Mia goes, and then I'll pay for your next infills. And in that moment I saw the harm that my self-harm was doing to those around me. Their hearts were hurting so much at seeing this thing that was still carrying on in my life that was essentially a form of self-harm. I was sitting there subconsciously, so I'm not really aware or consciously consenting to this process of behavior, but causing harm to myself. And it was having such a significant impact on those around me that I love dearly and that I care for, that they would part with their own money, and even my children, to see me stop doing this thing. And not because they didn't want to look at it, because they didn't want to see how much I was hurting myself without even realizing it. And in that moment, it was very simple. I made the decision. I won't bite my nails. It was such a significant light bulb moment for me that I stopped. And it broke that habit for me because I love them more than anything in the world. And of course, I don't want to be contributing to their discomfort. And I see in that moment how much pure love was coming from each of them in this desperate plea for me to stop doing this thing. And it's a non-issue. Like, talking about main character energy, I go, well, would the main character be biting their nails? Like, it's disgusting. And would I watch a movie where the hero's journey included somebody who's biting their nails? Like, it's gross, and I'm not going to do it because I'm showing up. I love myself. I'm manifesting this beautiful life where I enjoy and love all of the connections happening in it and around me. And then I'm showing up now and really tapping into that I'm not inadequate. I'm actually powerful beyond measure. So of course I'm going to bring my main character energy. So my point with that story was that I've found myself in the last week reflecting on, would the main character do that? Would the hero in the hero's journey do that? And it is very much a game changer for procrastination, for decision making, for everything. And when I think about the things that I have to get done, but then I'm more aware of the ways that my brain would cause me to procrastinate. And typically nothing like needing to record a podcast for you to become aware, so suddenly aware of how much the bathroom needs to be cleaned. Like, when I would really want to get writing my book, I would suddenly find that there were so many things that needed doing, or I really felt like making art. And my brain is very good at finding very creative ways to procrastinate. Now, click into gear with main character energy. I'm like, would the main character be fucking around making art if you want to write a book? And so and it's not that cleaning my bathroom is fucking around, but it definitely helps me prioritize my day in a way that honors both. Because I'm not going to use the cleaning as an excuse to avoid the thing that I maybe have a little bit of discomfort because it's unfamiliar, or somehow there's maybe a fear, maybe an imposter syndrome that's sitting on my shoulder going, who are you to make a podcast? Who do you think you are that people would want to listen to you? And so it's niggling there, and it hides very, very well and wears very clever masks so you don't think that you've got it. But the reality is, if we peel back the layers and see, why am I procrastinating? Is it because of this? And so what I'm finding is that applying the main character energy question of, would the main character do this? Would the hero and the hero's journey do this? It just snaps me into a very much easier process with which I make my decisions, with which I prioritize my time and energy. And honor myself, because at the end of the day, the main character energy isn't going to have a gross, dirty bathroom. They're also not going to just have a house full of art when they desire to achieve shit. So it's been extremely rewarding how quick and easy I've been able to take something and apply it to my life, like a lens through which I view my decisions, my priorities, my energy and its placement, but also what I want to do next. Because I think that we not just suffer in this self-imposed sense of entitlement to a hero coming and saving me, or that somebody outside of me needs to fix this situation or whatever it is in our life. I think that we also float through so much of our life. We just end up on Groundhog Day doing the same shit, whether it's the same shit as in every day in our life, or whether it is the same shit in that it's the habits of procrastination or self-sabotage or negative self-talk. But we end up on this kind of mouse on a wheel of just like the same stuff happening. And then you look back and you're like, what the fuck? It's New Year's Eve. Like, it's been another year of my life gone. And if that was a movie, there's no real hero's journey in that. And it's not something that's going to keep anyone engaged or sitting in their seats to find out how it ends. And there's no real fulfillment for you as the main character to be just in this plotless, going nowhere kind of movie. And it doesn't matter where you live, what the circumstantial, environmental aspects of your life are with regards to your financial status, where you sit socioeconomically. It's not about all of this. It's about, regardless of where I'm placed in life, am I willing to pull the curtain back and see that my greatest fear is not that I am inadequate, it's actually that I'm powerful beyond measure. And what if somebody handed that realization to me? What if I was gifted this lens through which I could see myself and really understand that I am powerful beyond measure? And if we're not able to measure it, then that's fucking massive. Like, let's have some fun with that. Let's really go nuts. Make an experiment out of it. Let's see how incredible this self-love journey can be. Let's see how much I can manifest. And if you're not in the socioeconomic class or financial status that you want to be, then let's get manifesting. Let's change that shit, because there's no knight in shining armor with a bag full of money or a winning lotto ticket that's coming to save you. It's about how you start to show up in the realization that I'm the hero. And I've got this. And even though I may not feel like I've got this right now, I'm willing to be uncomfortable in regards to growth rather than stay comfortable in the discomfort, because the discomfort is familiar. Because I would encourage you to be one of the few that leaves the flock and lean into what I'm saying and go exploring what the discomfort of growth feels like, because the discomfort of growth is rewarded with the growth. It's rewarded with the benefits and the beauty that comes with growing and outgrowing the previous version of yourself. The discomfort of staying familiar is there's no rewards. There's only misery. There's only actually resentment and disappointment when things don't even turn out the way you thought they were going to. When you thought, if I just do this on Groundhog Day, if I just show up this way for these people, then life will turn out this way. It's not even going to. Life is going to throw you curveballs that you then end up looking back in your rocking chair at old age going, why the fuck did I stay in rooms that didn't deserve me, or that didn't honor me or respect me, or that I just didn't want to be in, because it felt easier than getting up and leaving or upsetting the apple cart. I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I promise you it's worth disappointing people. Whoever it is that you think will be disappointed by you leaning into the discomfort of your growth in honoring your authentic self so that you can step into the awareness and power of who that person really is, they're disappointed by you doing that. They can let them be disappointed and let them step aside, so that the people who deserve to be a part of your journey, who want to see you succeed and lift you by default, can step up and become your tribe. Because these are the kinds of rewards that happen when we have the courage to get uncomfortable and start walking through those doors that open in life and start saying yes to life. And in spite of our grief, our challenges, our trauma, our anxieties, in spite of these things. Because I promise you that in doing so, so much of the healing that needs to take place for all the things that I've just listed takes place when we have the courage to step into the power of becoming our most authentic self. And that's main character energy. And become the hero of the hero's journey. And really show up and, come in that armor and save the day. But I want to also mention that being the hero is more than just coming in the armor and saving the day. So yes, 100%, you're going to fight like as this hero, this knight in shining armor, however you want to view it, you're going to fight for your inner peace. 100% fight for that. But that doesn't mean fighting others. It's about protecting your mind and your energy and your boundaries and guarding your joy like it's sacred, because it is. But there's a difference in fighting for the good in your life with fighting with people. And I'm just saying fight for you rather than fight with other people. And we're so willing to fight for other people in that we chase things. We chase goals and people and relationships in an attempt to make them love us or stay or be our hero or save the day. And at the end of the day, it's about putting all of that energy that we would fight for other people into fighting for us and for our inner peace and the things that we need to protect, like I said, our joy and our energy. And it means facing the dragons. And the dragons in this story, in this hero's journey, are your fears, your grief, your trauma, whatever it is. They're not meant to be avoided. And we don't win by avoiding those things. We win by having the courage to play that hero role and really face those dragons, if you want to call it that. But everything. But then it's also about imagine yourself as the knight in shining armor. We don't need to be hard to be strong. And that's something that took me a long time to realize that I could know when to take the armor off in life, and that there's so much strength in being the right kind of soft. There's so much strength in being courageous enough to be vulnerable and letting softness be part of our strategy and vulnerability part of our healing. Because I think that if, like me, you found yourself in a heap of situations in life where you could have really done with a hero, then it's likely that you have let yourself become hard and build up this armor or these walls the endeavor of which was to protect you. But actually all that does is keep everybody out. It'll keep some of the people out that maybe it should, but boundaries can do that. And what it does is keeps out all the people that it actually shouldn't. These are people that should make up your tribe, that should be around you, that would help see you succeed. And I think that that's part of the hero's journey, is the realization that I can knock those walls down and replace them with boundaries, that I can take the armor off and replace it with a strength that comes from being vulnerable, and I can make softness a part of my strategy. And in doing so, be really loyal to myself, because like I said to you, no one's coming. But if I had to choose someone and I had to kind of really define, maybe not by the appearance, but like what this person that was going to be my hero was like, 100% I would choose me. I would choose me. And I am going to stay loyal to myself, because I've been busy becoming the one and manifesting and stepping into this untapped potential and power that I have. And now I'm showing up in my main character energy. There's no going back. I am 100% choosing me. I'm the mission, and I get to be the hero. And even when it's, messy and uncomfortable and uncertain, I choose me. And that's the combination of all those things. I am becoming the one, main character energy, playing the hero role because no one else is going to do it. Really not waiting for permission or to be rescued, because I'm not a damsel in distress. I am the one holding the reins and deciding which battles are worth it and which paths lead home to myself. And I don't want any part of this to sound like it's directed at women. I very much have a passion for men's mental health, and I've worked in that space for the last 10 years. And I tried to Google, what's the men's version of Knight in Shining Armor? And it was like, Knight in Shining Armor. It's the same. I get it, because if I had been a man, then I've got an inner child as a small boy. Of course he wants a knight in shining armor to scoop him up from the things that cause him harm or don't serve him or disappoint and therefore hurt his heart. And so I speak everything that I do in equal parts to men and women, and I never want that to be kind of misconstrued as if I'm talking just to women because I say I'm not a damsel in distress. So I hope that I have done this particular topic justice justice by letting you know that no one is coming. But the great news is the best possible choice that you could have had if there was a list of options is you. And nobody's going to show up for you in the capacity and the reliability that you can. Think about it. The only person on this planet that you can 100% trust 100% of the time is you. And if that's not the case, if you're sitting here going, oh, you don't know me, then change it. Change it and start showing yourself the kind of love that you think you're giving to other people, because if you're not showing up as somebody who you could 100% count on, then you're not giving other people the love that you think that you are, because you can't give to anybody anything you're not giving to yourself. And so we love from this, from a pure intention to love, but we love with attachment. And until we step into the power of loving free from attachment, because we've positioned ourselves to offer that to ourselves, and so now we really know what it feels like, we want to share it and we want to give it to people, then until we do, we don't realize that we're not doing it to the full capacity that we have the ability to. And if I want to really, really love those around me and in my life and really translate and transmute that love, I do it by being the most authentic version of me, by really showing up for myself. And what that looks like, in my opinion, is everything that I've just talked about, because there is so much going on in me. There always has been. It's always felt like a lot. But instead of apologizing or feeling the need to be validated by other people or have permission by those around me to be a lot, I can step into the realization that this is just the beginning. And if I have a good heart, no malicious intent, then everything is okay. So if everything is okay, and my greatest fear is not that I'm inadequate, it's that I am powerful beyond measure, and now I'm starting to go, wow, if it's beyond measure, I'll never be able to truly measure it, then let's just have some fun with this. Because I promise you, from where I'm sitting right now, and I'm only just getting started, because let's be real, I'm powerful beyond measure, and I'm going to make an experiment out of what is left of the rest of my life and just have a heap of fun, because until now it really hasn't been. And everything we think is fun pales in comparison to the capacity we have for the same when we take on that main character energy. And we offer ourselves the very love that we have been seeking our whole life. And when we come to the realization that someone is coming, there's someone coming to save you, and it's all going to be better than you ever imagined. And that person is the person that you can rely on better than anyone else in the world, who's always going to have you back and always going to show up for you. And is always, always going to love you in the way that you wanted to be loved, unconditionally. It's great news. I get to be the hero in this journey, and so do you. And I'm so grateful to be able to share that with you. I hope from the depths of my heart that it resonated with you. And if it did, I would ask that you share it with anyone and everyone, because let's be real, it's not on us how and where it lands. It's just on us to share our power and our knowledge. And so let's get around it. And in doing so, hopefully create a even bigger tribe of people stepping into their main character energy. Let's fucking do this. But yes, thank you so much for listening once again to this episode of Why Mindset Matters. I am Eslana Loa. You can follow me on Instagram at Eslana Loa. I look forward to sharing all of the upcoming episodes of this podcast with you and everyone that wants to listen to it. So sending love. Have a great day.